Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. My name is Pearl and this is the Regis family vlog. First of all, before I continue with this video, I just want to apologize for not uploading videos for 2 weeks in a row. And I hope you understand when I continue with the video. Um, Last week I was swamped with appointments for Gracie, and the week before I was not feeling well. I was I was sick. Physically I was sick, and it has been a hard few weeks for me. Um, and this is why I'm making this video today, to tell you guys about what's been happening to me since after I came out and I spoke about my childhood trauma. Guys, it's not an easy journey, and if any one of you are going traveling on this path, you will understand how hard it is after speaking out. But I want to let you guys know that it will get better. Don't give up, because you are at a better place than you used to be. So in today's video, you guys, I just want to share with you a deeply personal journey, one of darkness, pain, and ultimately resilience. It has been very, very difficult with me. After mustering the courage to come out about my childhood trauma, I found myself plunged into a whirlwind of emotion. Like I said earlier, depression, anxiety, fear. Each day felt like a battle against the demons of my past. I found myself, after coming out, where I braced myself for the onslaught. You know, when you go through childhood abuse, you need to be 10 steps ahead of your abuser. You need to know what is going to happen, and you need to prepare yourself. You need to prepare yourself to protect yourself. You're building walls, and you are just preparing for what is to come. But this time it was different. I braced myself for the onslaught, expecting that they would, the ones who hurt me, the ones who abused me, that they would come back. You know, they would come at me with full force. But the silence I got from them was deafening. They did not even acknowledge my pain. They did not reach out to apologize to me. They didn't even tell me they watched the video. And there I was, mentally preparing myself for whatever that was to come. I don't know how to explain it to you guys. When you go through these things, you are trapped in a constant state of fear and flight. And this is where I was. I was trapped in a constant state of fight or flight. My body and mind locked in a relentless struggle. The anguish I felt consumed me, suffocating me with its intensity. It was very hard. And with all of that going on, my body was in constant stress, and the hormones that your body deposits, it's just wreaking havoc on your body. And with that anxiety, I literally suffered pain in my body. My muscles were hurting me. Tight muscles. My jawbone, tight. I had pain in my belly. I don't know if you guys have ever gone through anxiety pain. All here was hurting me. Painful bellyache, you guys. I suffered immensely. I don't wish this on my worst enemy, but I don't regret coming out and telling my story. I do not regret speaking up and speaking out about what happened to me. Because what I find is when you don't talk about it, it is constantly in your mind, constantly in your mind. But when you talk about it, although I have gone through what I went through after I spoke about it, but I wouldn't change it. Because when you talk about it, it's like you're freeing yourself. You're giving yourself permission, to get well, to get better, to seek out help. And the one mistake I made during this time is I did not reach out to my coach. I did not. The only time, last night I was talking to him via text, and he asked me how I was doing, and I told him, and he said, "Why didn't you call me? Why didn't you call me?" And I told him I will talk to him next week, like this week. And the reason I did not tell him is because I felt ashamed. Why did I feel ashamed? When I was going through this, I did not call him because I was doing great. I was doing great, but because I put that out and I was waiting for the backlash from those from those who did me wrong, I felt in my mind, to me, it was like, you're a failure. There you told him you were doing well, and now look at what you're going through. So I was afraid of telling him what I was going through. I was ashamed, and I felt utter failure. I felt like I was a failure. So this is why I didn't reach out to him. So I am here to encourage you. When you're going through that, don't do what I did. Don't do my mistake. Reach out to your coach. Reach out to your therapist and tell them what is going on. They can help you better than if you just sit down there and try to resolve it on your own. For me, I reached out to two of my sisters who were there for me and just supported me through it. Two of my sisters. And my church members, I reached out to some of them, right? But I had two who are constantly calling me, and how are you today? How are you feeling? What's going on? And they are there championing me, they are there to encourage me to continue, and that has helped me immensely. Those two have really helped, and my two sisters. And I have other people praying for me, and I have others who were texting me just to encourage me. Yesterday I went to church and we were talking about stuff, and I made this comment. I said sometimes we tend to focus on our problems, and the problem becomes bigger than it is. By focusing constantly on your problem, we make it bigger than it really is. But then I said, if we take our eyes off the problem and focus on God, see the big God that we serve, our problems will be smaller than as we are focusing on it, how big it looks. But if we focus on God, our problems will look smaller. And I said, this is the problem that I am going through right now. I am focusing more on my problem than on the God who is bigger than my problem, the God who is able to help me go through and sort it out, the God who is able to take me from where I am to where He wants me to be. Because I believe that God has a plan for my life. And when I made that comment, somebody from the church, I know the wheat and the tears will grow together. There are good people in church. There are not so good people in church. There are people who come to do the work of the Lord. There are people who come just to do the work of the enemy. And they're there. And when I made that comment, that person responded, when are we going to stop making excuses? You guys, that hit me. That hit me because where I was, and I'm coming to church, happy to come to church, to fellowship, and to just give God praise. And this is what that person said. And when that person said that, I said, I'm not making excuses. This is what I'm going through. And I said to my husband, let's go home. And he said, let's wait a little while, because he was supposed to see somebody and he had something very important to do with that person. So we stayed, but I couldn't stay in the church no more. because the tears were about to come out. And I left, I went out in the lobby and I stood there. But people were coming in and hi and hi. And this sister came and she hugged me and said, "How are you doing today, Sister Pearl? How are you?" I had gotten too many how are yous and I was not feeling good and I was not at a good place. And the tears that I was trying to hold back just started to flow. And I just rushed away from her and I went to stand by the door. And I stood there and the people are coming in, "Good morning, happy Sabbath." And I'm trying to answer so that they will not know that I'm crying because I don't want people to know I'm crying. And then they went in. But this lady, this sweet lady came to me and said, "Sister Pearl, what's going on? What's going on?" And I said, "Sis, can you go ask my husband for the keys, for the car keys for me, please, so I can just go in the car?" She said, "Are you leaving?" I said, "No, I just want to sit in the car for a minute." And guys, I went in the car and I cried. I cried and I had no tissue in my car to wipe my tears. Thank God my husband came out and I asked him to go in the church and get me some tissue. And he went to the church, he got me a box of tissues. I sat there and I cried my belly full. When I was done, I fixed up my face, I cleaned up, and then I went back inside. And I am saying that to you to help you that when you are going through this, it is okay to cry. A lot of people will tell you, "Oh, she's crying, she's having a mental breakdown." No, you're not having a mental breakdown. Crying is therapy. If crying is what's going to help you to release the tension, cry. Find a place and cry. If you can't find a place and you're in the middle of the street and you need to cry, cry. I have cried in the middle of the street. I have no shame to cry. I cry. Crying is therapy. And I felt better. I went back in the church and it was time for Singspiration, and oh God, they were just bringing it. And one of the songs that they sang is, I forgot. Something about reclaiming everything the devil has stole from me. Oh man, I can't remember. I look for the song and I'll insert it. And that song just moved me, and I'm like, I'm coming back by the grace of God. I'm gonna reap everything that God has in store for me. All His promises, every blessing that He has for me, I'm gonna get them by God's grace. You know. And it was really sad. It was really sad yesterday, and I cried. And I hope that this person doesn't do that to somebody else again, because we are all at a different stage in our faith. Where you are is not where I am. Where I am is not where somebody else is. So when you're going through, in anything you're going through in life, we are not at the same place. You know, what I have gone through, you might not have gone through it. So you probably cannot understand to the depth of where I am, but you have some understanding. So we have to be careful what we say to people, how we say it to people, because what he said there could have thrown me off. But thank God, the way I resolved it was through tears. And I went back in and I worshiped my God and I praised my God, because I know that greater is He that is in me than he that is in the world. And later on, I got this tight hug from this sister. She just hugged me so tight and said, "I love you. I am so proud of you. You are so beautiful. You are so strong." And all these things are strengthening me. You know, all of these things are strengthening me. You know, and later on I had to send her a text and say thank you. And she's the sweetest person ever. God bless her. You know. And later on that day, I spoke to some other people. I spoke to a sister, and we just had this long conversation, almost an hour on the phone, just talking. And she's encouraging me, and I'm encouraging her. And that's the way life ought to be. We ought to be there for each other. We ought to be encouraging each other. Don't try to dance on somebody else's spirit. Don't try to think that I am better than you. I am holier than you. No, this is all self-righteousness. And self-righteousness is not taking us anywhere. So I want to encourage you. I want to encourage you, you that is on this journey, you know, you that is on that journey. I want to encourage you on the journey. Don't let nothing or no one stop you. You have to speak up for yourself. You have to speak out. You have to tell what's done to you. Because by not telling what's done to you, you are doing a disservice to yourself. I know people are saying, well, don't talk about the problem. The more you talk about it, you are not talking about it to make it bigger, but you are talking about what has happened to you. You are talking about it to help somebody else, to encourage somebody else. So I encourage you to speak up. When we don't speak up, we are giving these people who have done these wrongs to us more power over us. That is what we are doing. Because they are hoping that we never talk and they continue the same pattern. Do you understand? That was done to me. Did he do that to somebody else? Is he still doing that to somebody else? By keeping silence, we are giving these people permission to continue. We are giving these people power over us, and it's not right. I have said no. I am breaking my silence. I am breaking that power you had over me. And right now, it is up to you, your conscience, and God, because I know I have a clear conscience with God. I am looking out for myself. I am looking out for my mental health. I am looking out for my emotional health. I am looking out for my physical health. And I am on my healing journey and I am not turning back. You understand? I am a survivor. I am a warrior. And I will not be silenced by fear or by pain. So to you out there who is fighting your own battles, know that you're not alone. Know that your pain is valid. Your struggles are real. And you are stronger than you could ever imagine.